Well, here it is. The day has finally arrived, as here are the overalls of the 2018 PFA teams, and I don't know if I'm doing it differently or what, because the overalls compared to last year are way lower than they were in 2017. I think maybe last year I did an absolute player stats, overalls, instead of relative like I did this year. But when I did an absolute, they seemed way too high. Yeah, it was like way too high. It didn't look right. So I stuck with relative, but the overalls are much lower. So, and they're so low. A lot of teams are like almost as bad as like Cupcake in the older Madden create teams, like really bad. But these is, remember, absolute. So like a team that has a 50 overall means they're at average, and the higher up, the more elite they are. So keep that in mind. So here we go. And of course, just like last year, I think a lot of them are way off. So here's the overall starting off in the National East. As you can see, Manhattan, ouch, my goodness God, this year is showing them no mercy apparently. 67 offense, 59 defense, 31st in the league in terms of overall. Yikes, that's the defending champs we're talking about. They're not that bad. And then the Cleveland, look at that. The 5th best team in the league. Yeah, that's not right. I don't think they're going to be that good. And how about this Washington, the number 1 team in the league with the number 1 defense in the league, even better than Birmingham, surprisingly. And they were the number 1 ranked team in the league. That I find very hard to believe. But that's what the game says. And Philadelphia, 27th ranked. And then 37th ranked is Boston, which those two I can believe. But Manhattan, Boston, Washington, I do not believe whatsoever. They're way off the mark. But this is what mathematically the same formula used for the overall says, so I don't know why it would say this when the results say otherwise. And then we go over to the National Central. As you see, Denver, 18th rank, 72 offense, up there is one of the elite offenses in the league. And then Omaha, oh my God! Their offense took a big nosedive, but their defense took an even worse nosedive, which makes no sense because their defense played better than they did than the year before, and they're the 6th worst team in the league. Get out of here with that. Louisville, third to last worst team in the league. Yeah, that's definitely not right. Indianapolis ranked 33rd with a very bad defense. That's not right. And then Milwaukee, the worst team last year, almost near the middle of the pack with a solid offense and defense. Denver may be about right, although they probably should be a little bit higher up. Omaha, Louisville, definitely need to be a lot higher than that. Indianapolis needs to be higher than that. Milwaukee needs to be lower to be more accurate. And then it's the National South. Start off with the Birmingham Hornets with the 2nd best defense in the league with a solid offense, and they are the 2nd best team going into 2018. And then Jacksonville with an elite offense, although their defense is honestly a lot better than it should be. 10th best team in the league. And then San Antonio with the league's number 1 offense, but one of the league's worst defenses, which still gives them the 6th best ranking. How about this though? Atlanta, an elite offense and a much better defense, even though they're not supposed to be. But they're the 3rd best team in the league. And then, of course, you got Tampa, literally the worst team in the league. Birmingham, yeah, I could see them being up there. I don't know about 2nd best team in the league, though. San Antonio, yeah. Jacksonville, yeah. Atlanta, no. Atlanta's way too high. They need to be more like middle around the pack, and Tampa's way too low. They're not the worst team in the league. They're in the low 30s at worst. But so far, this division, according to this, is the strongest of all of them. 3 of the teams are in the top 6, and then the 4th is in the top 10, with only 1 team being dead last. And then it's the National West, starting off with Oakland being 11th place with 68 across the board, followed by Phoenix, who's 64 across the board, ranked 29th, and then Los Angeles is ranked 30th with a slightly better offense, even though it should be their defense better, just like Oakland should have a much better defense. Hawaii, how about this? They have one of this year's most great offenses, which is way out of line, but ranked 19th, and then Portland, surprisingly, their offense is not ranked really good. Their defense is one of the worst, though. Actually, it is the worst, and they're ranked 2nd to last in the league. Oakland might be a little bit too high. Phoenix might be ranked too low. Los Angeles should be lower. Hawaii should be way lower. Portland should be way up higher. This thing is way out of whack. And then we go over to the Century Conference, starting with the Century East. As you see, Pittsburgh, the runners-up for PFA Bowl 2 last year, 20th place with a much better offense than their defense, huh? That's not right. Cincinnati, same thing. They have a much better offense than their defense. That's not right. And Baltimore, quite a big downturn from last year, but a really good offense, a solid defense, get 13th place. Buffalo, somehow being solid in terms of the overalls compared to everyone else, 26th place. And then Columbus, the second best team in this conference, with a solid offense and defense, ranked 14th. Pittsburgh's way too low. Cincinnati's too low. Baltimore might be around correct, but they might need to be a little bit lower. Buffalo's like one of the worst teams in the league in my eyes, so they should be much lower. And Columbus is way too high. I can't believe the game actually thinks that Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, who were one of the elite defenses last year, not only have not a good defense, but their offense is better than their defense? That's just not right. And then we go over to the Century Central, start off with Chicago. Oh, dear God. Not only is their defense worse than their offense, but 36th place? Dude, this team was the second best team in the league last year record-wise. They had the #1 defense in the Century Conference, and they have not a good defense, but fifth worst in the league? Get out of here. And then Oklahoma, really good offense. Their defense, honestly, is way too high overall, but 9th place. Detroit, oh my goodness. They had a massive bump with their defense, honestly, being a little bit too high, but 7th best in the league. That's incredible. And then Minneapolis fell down to 24th place, I believe. And then Kansas City fell backwards to 28th place. Their offense is way too good, and their defense is way worse than it should be. Yeah, Chicago is way off the mark. They're nowhere near that bad. They're, like, I would say in the top 10. Oklahoma might be a little bit too good. Detroit, I think, is too good, even though I'm blowing them throughout the entire offseason. Minneapolis might be around correct. Kansas City might be around correct, although they probably need a little bit of a bump. Same goes for Minneapolis. And then we get to the Century South, start off with Miami, with a very good offense. Their defense, that's pretty bad. 25th place. And then you got Dallas, who has a much better defense, offense than their defense, and they're 22nd place. And this is actually a screw up on my part. Houston, better defense than their offense, but 64th place, nah. I have no idea what Houston actually was. I don't have the stats anymore to look it up, but they're not 64th. Must have been a screw up on my part somehow. Maybe just copied something over. Orlando having an elite offense, their defense probably being too good than they should be. 17th place though, but this ain't right. New Orleans, they literally went 4-14 last year, whatever it was. And they're the 15th best team in the league, the best team in the division. That's not right. Their defense is probably about right, but there's no way they're the 15th best team in the league. They're way too high. Orlando's way too high. I have no idea who Houston is, but I think I would say they're probably too high for wherever they are. Dallas might be a little bit too low. Miami is definitely too low where they should be. And then finally, it's the Century West. I start off with El Paso, who ties San Antonio for the best best offense in the league, although their defense is way bad compared to what they should be. 4th place, though, in overall. Seattle, really good offense. Their defense is okay. 12th place, followed by Las Vegas with a very good offense. Their defense kind of shit, though. 8th place in the league. And then San Francisco, somehow even better offense than Seattle and Las Vegas, although their defense is crap, in 16th place. And then San Diego has the 21st rank spot, the 21st best team with a much better offense than their defense. This likewise with the National South is probably up there as one of the better divisions in the league, but El Paso I would say is about right, but maybe I would move them down a point or two. Seattle might be where they're at right now. Las Vegas is too high. San Francisco's too high, and San Diego is definitely way too high. But those are the overalls of the 2018 teams going into this season. A lot of them are way too high, a lot of them are way too low, just like last year. Now, of course, the team with the best overall was Washington, as you see on that list, and the worst team was Tampa. I don't agree with either one of them. Washington is not the best team in the league, nor is Tampa the worst team in the league. The best offense is a tie between San Antonio and El Paso at 79, and the best defense was Washington with a 79 overall as well. San Antonio, yeah, had the best offense for the third year in a row. El Paso, no, their offense is not the best in the league. Washington's defense, however, is very good, but I wouldn't say they're the best. It should be Birmingham, actually, as the best defense in the league. Now, the worst offense is a freeway tie between Boston, Louisville, and Tampa. Boston, yeah, I maybe can see. Louisville definitely has a very bad offense, although I wouldn't say they're necessarily the worst, but I'm sure if I looked at their stats again, they're really bad. Tampa, no. Tampa, their offense wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst, especially since they just got a quarterback in the first round of the draft the last time out, so no, I don't think they're the worst offense in the league. Now, the worst defense in the league belonged to the Portland Dragons. Yeah, their defense is very bad. I don't know if I would say they're the worst. I would say more like Orlando, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Oklahoma, and them. I would say they probably have a worse defense, but their defense is very bad. But those are the overalls going into 2018, and then all that's left is to make my predictions for the 2018 PFA season, and then we can now begin simulating Week 1 of the 2018 PFA season. And I already made the slides for my picks, so that video actually could maybe come up today now that I upload this video. So, looks like very soon, guys, this August, PFA might finally begin again for its third season. I can't wait for that. I'm sure you can't either. So tune in soon as the 2018 PFA season is almost here.